All right, so we're legs up the wall. We've got a bolster behind our hamstrings. Our arms can be wherever we want them to be. Keeping in mind with the full moon practice that we want to keep it a little bit more tame. Just being a little more mellow with our bodies. It's like a scheduled slow down. With our feet at hips distance apart, we're going to point and flex our feet. And then we're going to point our toes, and we're going to draw big, slow circles. Changing direction with those circles. And then we're going to flex, curl, point, and flip 3 times. Use a little eucalyptus. If you don't want eucalyptus in the room, just raise your hand now. We won't use it. Nobody minds. If you want it, as I come to your mat, you're going to give me your left hand. So I'll put a little eucalyptus in your left hand. I think we all know the drill. You rub your hands, then you smell it slightly away from your face. And you use that smell to kind of feel the breath a little more fully in your nostrils, in your trachea, in your lungs. And expanding your nostrils, expanding your throat, your trachea, expanding your lungs. Making your breath so slow, so smooth, that you barely feel it on the inside of your nostrils. Like a gentle breeze on a calm day at the beach. Breathing so slowly, so smoothly, that you barely feel the breath. On the inside of your nostrils. Observing on the inhalation that the breath enters slightly cool. Noticing on the exhalation the breath exits slightly warmer. Inhale, breath enters slightly cool. Exhale, breath exits just a little bit warmer. Let's take 10 more breaths just like that, right here. Sliding that bolster away, placing it beside you. And then you're gonna keep your seat nice and close to the wall, and you're gonna bend your knees into a bit of a squat. So the toes are pointing out in the same direction as the knees. You wanna push the feet into the wall. Just playing with that range of the knees. Think about the pubic bone going towards the wall, Reach your arms up towards the sky like a bit of a zombie. And then take your right hand into your left armpit, and then your left hand comes through the triangle of the right arm, and your left hand comes into your right armpit. Thumbs are on the front of the armpit, fingers are under the armpits, and just let those arms fall down heavy. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Pull your belly towards your back and breathe into your armpit chest area. So with each inhale, the upper body is expanding, and with each exhale, the upper body is sinking, shrinking, contracting. Let's take 10 more breaths here. When those 10 breaths are complete, reach your arm bones up towards the sky, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Left hand's gonna come into right armpit, right hand's gonna go through the triangle of the left arm into the left armpit. Let those arms fall down heavy. Pull your belly towards your back and breathe into the upper chest and shoulders. Let's take 10 more breaths here. Again, feel free to plant a seed of intention using mantra, suitable for spring, hardworking season, with each and every one of those 10 breaths. When those 10 breaths are complete, reach your arms towards the sky, let your arms come down heavy, and then draw your knees together and once again shoot those legs up the wall. Knees and feet are at hips distance apart. Keep your left heel at the wall, and we're going to take the right leg away from the wall and to the wall 3 times, keeping the leg straight. And on the 3rd time, we're going to take that leg away from the wall and just hold it there. Nice level foot. And then our right foot is going to do what we call a book foot. So we're going to take the right big toe mound to the right, and so that the baby toe edge of the foot is close to the sky, and the big toe edge of the foot is close to our face. And then we're going to level it up, and then we're going to book foot and level 2 more times. And then we're going to book foot to hold, and in that book foot position, just point and flex a little bit, trying to sustain that book foot position as much as you can. Good. And then level up that foot, take that heel to the wall. Left leg's going to come away from the wall 3 times, keeping that leg straight. 3rd time, we're going to take that leg away from the wall to hold, press into both feet, and then we're going to book foot, level foot, book foot, level foot. Let's do that 3 more times. And on that 3rd time, we're going to book foot to hold. And in that book foot position, we're going to point and flex, point and flex. And then level up that foot. Beautiful. Bring that heel back to the wall. So if you've got slightly tighter hips or knees, you may have to bend your knees and push yourself away from the wall, okay? You'll know soon, but we don't push ourselves away from the wall in a number 4 or cross-legged position. You'll have to uncross and push yourself away from the wall. So we're gonna take our right ankle over our left ankle. We're not gonna book foot either foot, and we're gonna slide that right ankle below the left knee. If it doesn't come below the left knee, you go back to sliding the ankle up, uncross, and push yourself away from the wall. Both feet nice and strong. Move that right knee towards the wall. Really find a neutral pelvis, and then start to slide the left heel slowly down the wall as we come into this deep hip stretch, okay? Without using your arm, lift the inside of that right leg up towards the sky. And taking whatever position you want with your arms and your shoulders, totally optional. We're going to hold this one as we move our hip flexors towards the wall. So if you want to open your hips, schedule a sauna or have a sauna in your backyard if you're so lucky, and do this in the sauna. Legs up the wall and then this hip stretch, right? You don't want to go super deep right out of the gate in a hot room. You want to make sure you're not like blowing past where your body would be comfortable. Just slowly, you would increase your range. Nice. So you see how we're losing a little bit of energy there? Yeah, go. And just breathing into this. Beautiful breaths. Again, you can come out of it anytime you like by sliding that left heel up the wall. Both feet nice and strong. Yeah. So you kind of see it's not bad, but if we just get some more strength right here, like this inner heel lengthens. Nice. And this is your business. You can also do it in your jacuzzi, right? Sitting on the bench. Big, beautiful breaths. And this is just patience and practice and persistence, right? Our hips don't open up because we want them to. Our hips open up because we take the time to do it, right? And if they're tight, it's because the things we do in life make them tight, not because they're knobby hips. breaths are complete, we're gonna slide our heel up the wall, the heel that's on the wall, and then we slide the heel that's on the leg, up the leg, nice and slow. And then we're gonna uncross, we're gonna take that heel back to a hips distance apart, and then 3 times we're gonna take the leg away from the wall and to the wall, just like we started with. And on that 3rd time, we're gonna take the leg away from the wall and hold, and just pressing into both feet. Big, beautiful breaths. And then taking that heel to the wall, let's take our left ankle over our right ankle and let's slide that ankle down nice and slow. So the ankle bone is just on the outside of the leg and the shin is just below the knee. If that's not happening, slide your ankle back up, push yourself away from the wall to create more space. Fire up both feet, really strong ankles, really strong feet, no booking, and then slowly, slowly, we're gonna drag that right heel down the wall. And again, feel free to do whatever you want with your arms and your shoulders. Just make sure that you're kind of doing similar from side to side. Relax your forehead, relax your jaw. Great place to kind of measure if the hips are symmetrical or if one hip's way more open than the other. I like to try and bring my tailbone down to the floor, although this is a little bit more of an imprinted posture. Really feel that nice stretch in your hips and breathe into that space. take 10 more breaths here. When those 10 breaths are complete for you, no rush, you're going to slide that right heel up the wall nice and slow. And then you're going to slide that left heel up the leg nice and slow. And you're going to uncross. You're going to take your feet at hips distance apart. And you're going to take your leg away from the wall and to the wall 3 times before you hold that leg away from the wall. Pressing into both feet. Nice, big, beautiful breaths. Let's take 5 more breaths here. And then we're going to take that heel back to the wall, bend our knees nice and slow. Give those legs a nice hug, pulling them in towards the belly. Press the feet towards the wall. Try and bring your tailbone a little bit closer to the earth. Let's take 10 breaths, and then we're going to swap the interlacing or the crossing, whatever we've got going on. And 10 more breaths with the opposite crossing. And then pushing ourselves away from the wall, roll off to the side. We're going to bring ourselves up. And we're going to find whatever height we need to sit comfortably with our knees bent. So you might want to have 2 blocks underneath your seat between your ankles, or you can sit right on those heels if that's appropriate. But you want to make sure that you don't feel your knees, right, and your ankles feel good. If you're someone that has consistent knee pain, like if you feel it in your day-to-day life, do you feel your knees in your day-to-day life? You do? So then even though you don't need a block, you're going to take a block. It's almost like, because we haven't maybe developed the muscles, and knees aren't fatigued, we kind of create a little bit of space, like a boundary, so that we don't overdo the knees, right? Yeah, just sit on one block. I like to do it, I've lost all my blocks. Oh, no, here they are. Like this, right? And so to get rid of feeling my knees all the time, I want to try and have a little bit of lift in my ankle to start with. So that's a really good indicator about my strength. And then if I couldn't do that, then I'd just go up a little bit higher, right? And if we do this, then one day we won't feel our knees at all, right? If your ankles can't lift, then 2. Does that make sense? So it's because with you, you're very flexible, and that's why we feel the knees. And so what we want to do in yoga is we want to build almost like a boundary or like a tensor bandage out of muscles to support it. So how we do that is just by really strengthening this part of our body. So what I would do there is, see how I can get a stick underneath my ankles? I'd want to do that. Because if I'm very flexible and my knees are able to do this, right? But I feel them in my day-to-day, then I'm going to overstretch them without even knowing it, because I don't probably feel it because there's not a ton of muscles there. It's just a little bit loose. So to kind of remedy that, that's where the height comes in. All right. Then we're just going to take our stick into our elbows and we're going to bring it up to a shoulder's height. What's that? Off? No, but we can take it down a little bit. Okay. Yeah, or open the windows is a good option. There we go. Right, so elbows as wide as the shoulders, hands nice and wide, relax the shoulders, pull in the belly, beautiful, and I can turn it down a little bit. Off's no good because then it gets cold, right? Especially with the new practice and this few people. But I can go a little lower. Below 16 isn't great because then it gets too cold.
It's just when the sun's out.
I know, it's tough. It's like the ins and the outs, right? Good. So elbows stay, good, and just see if you can take those hands a little bit wider, relax your shoulders, close your eyes, and just big, beautiful breaths here. Really trying to keep those elbows at a shoulder's height and as wide as your shoulders. Good. And I like to visualize I've got a ball between my elbows, nice, big, beautiful breaths here. No wrinkles in your wrists. Let's go 10 more breaths here. Great place to see if one is a little bit more open than the other. This is obviously external rotation. And then bringing those wrists back over those elbows, drop those elbows down, take the stick into your hands, and bring those elbows up a shoulder's distance apart. Relax your shoulders, keep those elbows, and just breathing here. Nice big beautiful breaths. Make sure the neck is relaxed. You can still say no or shoulder check. And then just closing your eyes and breathing here. Focus on your body, focus on your breath. Let's go 10 more breaths here. And when those 10 breaths are complete, bring your arms down. Beautiful. Place the stick beside you, palms facing up, shoulders back. Take a few big breaths here. And then bring your hands into Namaskar right in front of the chest. Have your hands no lower than your elbows, but have them as low as your elbows if you can keep the palms together while doing so. And then point the middle fingers forward and then point the middle fingers up. So keeping those elbows nice and stable like we did in the previous posture, middle fingers forward, middle fingers up. If it's too much, you just bring your hands a little higher so there's less tension in the wrists. And then middle fingers pointing up, push your hands together, let the right ear come down to the right shoulder without moving the elbows or the arms. So no rotation in this first part, check me out. So you're doing this, which is a shoulder check, and I want you to come down without rotation. There we go, good. Now push your elbows down into an imaginary table, good. Lift your left collarbone up, pull it away from your sternum, lift your sternum, and then rotate your chin towards that right shoulder nice and slow. And just breathe into the trap. Imagine the forehead is pushing forward, imagine the curvy bit of the back of the skull is pushing back. And then chin comes back up to center slowly. Opposite ear comes down. Lift your right collarbone, pull it away from your right throat. Now rotate your chin. I feel like you could push the back of the skull back, the forehead forward, relax your forehead, relax your jaw, pull the belly towards the back. And then chin coming back up to center. Beautiful. Interlace your fingers, right hand on top of left. Flip your palms, straighten the arms in front of you, and then just nice inhale to bring those arm bones up. Good. Lift up into the wrist, press into the fingers. No shoulders eating necks. Keep those shoulders relaxed. Lean into your back ribs. Let's go 10 breaths here. Find each and every one of your fingertips and press it into the opposite hand. Don't lose your pinky fingers. Don't let them splay. And see if you can lift the thumb side of the wrist up towards the sky. And those 10 breaths are complete. Bring those arm bones down nice and slow. Feel that heat. Bend your elbows out to the side. Keep the elbows at that shoulder's height. And then flip your palms to you and away from you. Think of your arm bones as arrows. And those arrows are going to move towards the tip of your elbow. Really pressing into the tip of the elbow with your arm bones. And then swapping the interlacing, opposite grip, pull those elbows apart, flip the palms away from you, straighten out your arms as much as you can possibly, and then nice inhale to bring those arm bones up without the shoulders eating the neck. Lots of space for the neck. Lift up into the wrist, push into all the individual fingertips, lean into your back rib cage, close your eyes, and find your breath. Just going to where it's comfortable for you. Maddie, it's okay, it's just a dog, it's okay. Watch, she's gonna come protect me now. Between me and the dog, isn't that interesting? And then exhale to bring the arms down. Good girl, Maddie, such a good protector. Bend your elbows. Now take your arm bones to your elbows and then flip the palms to you and away from you. And then release those arms down, palms facing up, let the shoulders relax, close your eyes, big, beautiful breaths. And then coming forward, remove your blocks, have your hands on the mat, take your feet to the wall. So toes are tucked, heels are at the wall. So heels at the wall, toes tucked. Index fingers point forward. Think of a nice, strong external rotation and come into a down dog with your heels at the wall. But really take the time to find that rotation in the shoulders. Yeah, there you go. And keep that rotation in the shoulders. Puppy pose if your shoulders are bugging you today. And let's put you either on this wall or that wall, just because we're going to do, this one's probably best because we're going to do the headstand on these guys today. Which will be good. Such a good protector, Maddie. Good girl. Isn't that so interesting that she took to that at 2? She grew up and became a watchdog. And now she's becoming a mom. There you go. I'm going to take your shoulders to your ankles. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Let's take 10 more breaths here. When those 10 breaths are complete, take a nice child's pose. Five more breaths here, really planting a seed of intention with each and every one of those breaths. And then for the next one, stick in our hands, elbows on the floor, feet at the wall. Keep those elbows right underneath those shoulders and take it into a dolphin pose. And if it's easy for you to straighten your legs, you can bring your elbows a little further back. If it's hard for you to straighten your legs, take your elbows a little further forward. Right? So heels stay at the wall, pushing those feet into the wall and finding the right place for you where you can keep that form. And hold that as long as you can, and then take a nice long child's pose. Let your head just totally dangle. Get that head to be neutral. Just totally dangling, and just memorize that positioning of the head. mantra, mantra, mantra. Hands behind your shoulders, push yourself up, and I'm going to demo on your mat, Rhonda, if you don't mind.
It's totally upside down. I better fix that.
Busted. Okay, so we take our stools and we put them lengthwise on our mat, and then we take our 2 chip blocks on either side, right? Now, if you push it right against the wall, sometimes that helps with your mind, but try eventually to take it away, and you want it to be a shoulder's distance apart, right? So if I put my hands on here, I can see like down dog shoulder's distance, roughly, right? I don't want it to be on my clavicle, I want it to be on my shoulder. Sometimes you want to come up with the weight kind of forward, but make sure it's on your shoulder, not your clavicle. And then you hold on like so, and you'll be able to see if that's about, you know, we're looking for this kind of alignment. You put your shoulders on the foamies, and you can see that my hands are a little wider than a shoulder's distance, so I'm gonna bring it in a little bit, right? So that when I grab here, it's pretty much a shoulder's distance apart. Then I'm gonna grip, and I'm gonna see if I can take my knees up. Ideally without the wall, but if I need the wall, that's fine, right? And I'm gonna hold this with my nice strong Barbie feet. I'm gonna count, I'm gonna time a minute, and then I'm gonna try and do a nice slow shin lift. Notice how my elbows don't move, and I go right into child's pose. Whichever child's pose feels good for me, but my forehead has to rest on something and I don't feel my knees, okay? So that's our first one. Our second one, we're gonna go up, right? So we go into this, again, with or without the wall, and then without our elbows moving. It's just a nice, slow, double heel drag, right? And I can do one heel drag and then another heel drag, or I can do both heels. And again, you can use the wall if that feels more appropriate, but see how my neck is neutral. And then it's either a double shin lift or a single shin lift to come out, and then right into child's pose. All of us are pretty used to being upside down because we do a lot of down dogs and stuff like that, but for our first few times doing this, I don't like to go past a minute, because if you do too long a hold, sometimes if we're not climatized, you can get a little bursted blood vessel in your eye, which nobody really wants. Not that it's harmful, it just doesn't look pretty and people have to ask you about it. So I generally time a minute and then just stick with the minute, and then if that's fine, then the next week maybe 2, and then the next week maybe 3. Sound good? So let's start here. Once we're kind of in, I'll give you a minute. It's usually 10 breaths, but it really depends on how you breathe. Maddie, she's so needy. Pregnant. I don't blame you. You receive all the love, don't you? You're such a good girl. The ladies are good too. Such a good girl, Maddie. Careful with your sticks. They are a bit of a death trap. So I'm just going to take them because we don't need them anymore. Thank you. Thank you. So first we make sure that it's a shoulder's distance apart. Thank you. And then we hold on and we see how that feels. And if you're seasoned, you can hold longer, right? But I will say, a minute starts now, you can count, just so you kind of know what your count is in an inversion. So, walk it in, keep walking it in, so your elbows want to be wider. There you go, you want to walk it in, walk it in, walk it in, good. And then just a shin lift, try and bring your heel to your butt. Good, just a shin lift and hold. Good, stay. Now see if you can do another shin lift. Don't list the quad. There, stay there. There you go. Stay there. Don't go up. That's where you want to train.
Okay.
So that's your first one. Good. Nice. You walk it in as close as you can. Just walk, 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 walk. And then just heel to butt. Heel to butt. And then you just see if you can hold there. Good. So I'm going to start timing a minute shortly here. Where are we? So, get ready to count on your mark, get set, go. And just counting your natural breaths, take your head back towards the wall. There you go. And just getting that nice neutral neck, squeeze those knees, squeeze those ankles, find those feet. And so when we're training to do a headstand, first thing we have to be able to do is clear our head in some certain poses, and then we have to be able to do this for a minute so that we know that our neck is not going to be compromised in any way. This is also just such a great neck release, right? And it's a proper inversion where we get our head right below our heart, so it's wonderful for brain health and heart health. Almost there. And that's a minute, so memorizing how many breaths that was for you. If you're new to inversions, it's a shin lift to come down and a child's pose. And then when we start inversions, we do the child's pose for the same amount of time that we did the inversion. So the same number of breaths, but then add 5 because we were all in it for a little bit before we went up, right? And then just remember your minute count, what that number is, and we'll just consistently know how to go slowly for longer and longer periods of time. And then once you've done your minute and 5 breaths, then try again, but coming up with the opposite leg first. Do the exact same practice. We call this stage 1. But come up with the opposite leg. And then same, opposite leg. So hands a little bit closer so they're shoulder distance apart. So pinky fingers touching the inside edge. There you go. And elbows right over. There you go. So that's a shoulder's distance. Perfect. Really keeping those elbows rock solid. And ideally one day we're not going to use the wall. So knees down, Rhonda. Right. There you go. Don't know what's up.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're okay. Just so do your best not to lift those quads for stage 1 and bring your head forward. Yeah, just head forward a little bit. Yeah, there you go. So you feel how that's a little more neutral?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And then just think shin lift, shin lift. There you go. And you can lift the quads a little bit, push into those hands and reach into those elbows. There you go. Now bring those knees together. Stay there or lower. Good. Can I find some Barbie feet happening? Right? Really strong feet. Now let's start counting our breaths for a minute. Feel like you're pushing those shoulders into the blanket, not to the blanket, what is that? That's a chip block, but use your armpits. Like there's crutches in your armpits and those crutches are pushing your armpits down to lift you up. And the closer you get those knees to your belly, the closer you are to be able to do a headstand safely in the middle of the room. Head back for me, Louise. Yeah, there you go. Back again. There you go. So you feel the front of your throat, Rhonda? Let's make that neutral.
I think I'm not putting enough weight on my shoulders.
Yeah. It's looking good. It's just the neck. You gotta tuck that chin a little bit. We tend to either fling it back or fling it forward.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is why we do a lot of core with our head on the ground, right? Because, you know how some people do core with their head up. Rob, your head has to go back. Yeah.
It just sounds really hard to for my hands.
Wait until you have to do palm slap, 3 elbows over your wrists, right? It's training. It's very hard.
It's like my fingers aren't gripping on anything. It's right on that crease of the...
I know, but it actually makes you engage your hands, and it's prep for being able to do it without anything, right? Yeah, it's definitely not easy, but it's easier than a headstand. And then rest, and then we'll do whichever, let's do 2 more. So rest for the same amount of breaths, we'll do 4 in total. Heel drag optional. And then once you've counted those same number of breaths, you're going to come up with your first leg that you used. And if you're feeling stable, you can slide your heels one at a time or together up the wall or not use the wall, whatever your preference. My kneecaps lifting up like a hammock, like onto the backs of my knees. There you go. Nice. A little more this way. Just a tiny bit there, right there. Good. Now feel your neck and just tuck your chin a teeny tiny. There we go, right there. And this elbow, bring it in a tiny, perfect. Nice. Really use that Uddiyana Bandha. And Rob, you can even go higher with those Onis if you want to. That'll make it easier. You know, then you'll be more closer to a 90. So you feel this elbow. And that's wide, I think. Looks a bit wide. We'll check it when you come out. Do you feel that that's slipping? So let's come down. It's interesting, even the stool wants to go that way. So what do? We put another mat, or we just don't push out that way. So you see how that elbow's pushing out and it caused the whole thing to start to slip. So, sometimes I get super safety, and I put 2 that way. I don't think you need it. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you need it. But just squeeze in, don't go out. Does that make sense? And then let's make sure these are shoulders distance apart. Put your hands on there. Yeah, that's pretty good. And you want to grab here. Yeah. Yeah, and then you just have to think of this elbow, squeeze it in. Yeah. That's good, Rhonda, and you're really nailing the elbows. This is really good for you because that's forced external rotation.
Really good.
Yeah, and you could buy a really fancy one of these. I think they call them legs up or something. Carol has one, but it's like a U-shaped. You can sometimes find them on Marketplace. I think you'll do a headstand by the time you're 50?
50, thank you.
But you could also buy these. This is cheap. The stools I got at Superstore and the chip blocks, I should sell them. I just keep forgetting to go stop and buy them. But you can get them.
So you buy and cut yourself?
No, the old Canadian Tire sells them across the street at the phone shop, probably cheapest.
Oh.
I didn't buy them there. I got mine secondhand from I didn't find out that was closing down. But
They
rumor
sell them
has
cut.
it.
They sell them cut.
I think they do. That's the rumor, but I keep meaning to stop there, but I'm very busy.
Oh,
But it's on like for years.
Oh, there you go.
Stop there. It's just not on my mantra list apparently. Okay, so you went up with one leg, right? Do one more. So you're just doing that count, rest for the same count. Let's do one more, and then we're gonna do a nice long supported bridge. And I have to leave on time today for probably a couple more weeks until ski season's over. And it's snowing, so I want to ski tonight.
You're bombing up there after this.
I am. I'm looking with the kids and then we go.
Wow.
Yeah, fun, right? That's pretty much my whole winter. Better, emailing it. And I like that the pelvis isn't going back, maybe, but the legs have to go back. Yeah, so push the sacrum forward and take your heels back. You have to trust it. Heels back. Heels back, sacrum forward. Heels back, sacrum forward. Heels back, sacrum forward. There you go, right there. And it trains you for both the headstands, right? Because this is more of like, it's this 45 that we actually train for, you know, this one, right? And then it also trains this one. Looking good, chin tucks a little bit, legs this way. And right there, nice. And you have to think of a little bit of letting these hip flexors open. I know it's scary, but we like this, like a little banana-y. So we're gonna lengthen our quads and lift our belly to get this to straighten. Squeeze here. A little bit this way. This way, and if your head could go back, that would be amazing. And if you wanted to make it easier, higher would work, but this is looking really good, Rob. And you're working, which is great.
Why don't we go through the stages in this one?
Because you can't get your feet because the wall's there.
Oh, gotcha.
Does that make sense? So it's good for training strength, but it's not great for the pattern. You know what I mean? Training the pattern. But it works. As you know, you got into a headstand, and this is how you trained it.
It's a lot of grip strength.
It is, and you know what most of us are missing in our pinches? Grip strength, right? And that was our New Year's resolution last year, was grip strength. Yeah. But when I'm doing those poses, and especially handstands and arm balances, look at how strong my grip is. It's like, it's those muscles. That's why I make you hold a stick and grip it too, right? Because I'm trying to train you for, just they say that's like the new longevity tool is grip strength, right? That's the new thing that they're pushing for whatever they're trying to make us do all the time. Live forever and have no wrinkles. That's the new, you'll stay young if you have strong hands. It's the new trend in fitness, but the yogis have been doing it for 10,000 years, so I don't know what trend it is. But this helps with that. Nice, and then we're gonna do, when you're done with this last child's pose, take your time, do your count. And then we're gonna do Setyabandha, supported bridge, with as much height as you can comfortably, but prioritizing straightening the legs, because we did a lot of folding in our hip flexors, so we wanna make sure that we open those hip flexors. And so whatever height you have, right, so then we just take 1 or 2 blocks, we lift our pelvis. We want to make sure our legs aren't loosey-goosey, but we're keeping our ankles and our knees stacked. And then we're going to slowly straighten those legs. I don't want to hit my teeth or whatever's there. I want these hip flexors to crack open. So really think of an imprinted pelvis to keep it neutral. Right? It's weird because the habit is to imprint, but you don't want to imprint. But as you come into it, it feels like an imprint to keep it neutral. So you lie down first. With that.
Can you put it this way too?
So I want it to be, like if this is my hip bone, right, and this is my tailbone, I want it to be kind of between those two spots, but not my low back. So when I come into it, I want to just make sure it's below my hip bone, right? If it's above my hip bone, that would not be a good thing. So these are my hip bones or my iliac crest. I just want it to be a little bit lower.
Kind of on your butt.
Yeah, close to your tailbone. Yeah, there. And then come up one more time. I think we can do one more. Lift your heels. There you go. Try that. There you go. And that's a neutral pelvis, which is amazing. And then super strong feet. Good. Push these toenails forward. How's that feel?
Good.
And then this year we're going to work that same 90-90 arm because we're going to get you into wheel pose real soon. Good. How's that feel? Yeah, maybe. What I really like is this to really root. I don't want any pain in the back, and your pelvis looks amazing here. And sometimes, like once you get really good at it, we can go up to the next height, but this is a good place to start for sure. Oh yeah, too high in your low back, that's true too, that's a good one. Take those big toe mounts and push them away, and we're just gonna go 10 more breaths here. When those 10 breaths are complete, you're gonna bend your knees, you're gonna get your ankles right underneath your knees, and you're gonna lift up 3 times. So you lift up once, come back down to the blocks, lift up twice, come back down to the blocks. 3rd time, lift up, remove the blocks, and then come down nice and slow. And then give those legs a nice hug for as long as you like, and then Shavasana. And if you're at home, you can throw on your knee drop, be well.